Hi, it's Mike with AskTractorMike.com. I've got a question today from a viewer about John Deere and where they're at. They've been laying off quite a few employees, and we're going to go through the full list today and let you know why they're probably laying people off and where they're getting laid off, and will that impact the price any. Well, let's get to the letter first, and the letter comes from William, and William asks, Mike, with all the layoffs, do you feel that John Deere will offer greater price incentives on their compact line? I'm looking at buying a 4044M in a package deal. Thanks, William. Well, let's answer William's question first. William, the layoffs that are happening in John Deere that have been in the news lately, that I'm going to list out today, are happening on the stuff that goes to industrial customers, but more than that, to agricultural customers. The combines, specialty items like cotton pickers and seeders and big tractors. The demand for those is way down, and Deere is trying to put the skids on production right now, and that's who they're laying off, the people that work in the factories that produce the big items. What you're talking about is a small tractor. Now, the supply of small tractors right now is larger than any of the manufacturers would like it to be. There's a oversupply of under 40 horsepower tractors, but it's better than it was a year ago. 40 to 100 horsepower tractors are pretty much way oversupplied, and demand is down. And we're going to talk about all of that today. So to answer your question, what's going on with Deere and the layoffs is probably not, it's not impacting small tractors at all, because the people that are being laid off produce the big stuff. But what is impacting the price on small tractors is the supply, and there's too much of it right now, and it's a good time to be buying. So let's get to what's going on with John Deere and the layoffs, and I'm going to go over the complete list of where everybody's being laid off, just so you kind of know. And it's a pretty long list, and it started in September a year ago. Deere announced that 200 employees would be laid off at their East Moline, Illinois plant. That's John Deere Harvester Works, where they build combines. That's a 3 million square foot facility that covers 71 acres, big facility, and they laid off 200 people there in September of last year. On the 12th day of March, Deere laid off 150 employees in their Ankeny, Iowa facility, and that's where they build sprayers and cotton pickers. Now, they have 1,700 employees in that facility, and a 139,000 square foot addition there is going to be completed at the end of the year, and they're talking to Ankeny about building a new 20,000 square foot lab there. So long term, the future there is probably bright, but short term, they've laid off a bunch of employees, and that happened earlier this year. I think it happened in May. And then a couple of weeks later, on the 26th day of March, Deere laid off 308 employees at their Waterloo, Iowa facility. And that's their big tractor plant that employs more than 5,000 people. And there they make the 7, 8, and 9 series tractors, the big meat of their big tractor line. And they laid off 308 employees there. And we'll talk about the reasons for these layoffs a little bit later, because big tractor demand is down, combine demand is down. Now, just to let you know that Deere is not the only one that's paring down their workforce. On the 16th day of April, CNH, or Case New Holland, let 200 employees go in their Racine, Wisconsin plant, and that's where they make the Magnum series of Case tractors, and I think some of the bigger New Hollands as well. Just let you know that Deere's not the only people that are paring down their workforce. Then jump forward, on the 8th day of May, Deere announced that they were laying off 34 employees at their Cylinder Works facility in Moline, Illinois. On the 20th day of May, Deere announced that they were laying off another 190 people at their Waterloo facility, and that happened on June 22nd. Then on the 5th day of June, Deere announced another round of layoffs, this time impacting 120 workers at their Cedar and Cylinder plant in Moline, Illinois. And I think that's the same complex that had already had some layoffs at their Cylinder Works facility in Moline. Then on the 6th day of June, Deere announced that 58 employees in Urbandale, Iowa were being laid off, and that location is headquarters to Deere's Intelligent Solutions Group, or their Precision Agriculture or High-Tech Farming Group. And there another 49 employees were being laid off at Waterloo and 16 at Ankeny. Now jump forward to the first day of July, and Deere Industrial announced layoffs at 2 of their facilities. They announced 211 people were being let go at Davenport, Iowa, and then another 99 employees at a factory at Dubuque, Iowa. Now Davenport makes big stuff, skidders and like motor graders and big dump trucks, and Dubuque makes skid loaders. And that's not related to the ag economy, but that's industrial stuff. And some of that production is going to Mexico, and we're going to talk about that in my next video, because Deere's not the only one that's doing that. Then, the last layoff was on the 10th day of July, not very long ago. Deere announced another 345 employees were being let go at Waterloo, Iowa, at that factory. And that happens in late September. And here's a graph that shows how many people it is. It's a bunch when you add them all together. John Deere worldwide has close to 83,000 employees, or had. And if you add together all of these layoffs, they've let go a little more than 2% of their global workforce, and that's just layoffs in North America. So it's a big deal. Why are these people being let go? Well, let's look at what's happening with the farm economy and look at combine and tractor sales. What I've done is I've showed last year's sales, and then this year's sales for the first half doubled. And the total sales for the year won't be double what the first half sales are, but that'll give you an idea of how the market has dropped. This is very unscientific, but I've doubled the first half sales to get a number, and then I'm showing you how much, if the sales for the year were exactly doubled, how much sales would be down. And when you put the percentage out to the side, it's a big number. Combine sales would be down 27% if they held true to first half sales. Articulated tractors would be down 16%. Over 100 would be down 15%. The mid-range tractors would be down 14%. And compact tractor sales are not down that much. They're down about 4%. And that's what William was asking about. But supply is too big for the demand right now. And that's why I think it's a good time to buy. So what's going on? Why are the tractor sales numbers and combine sales numbers down? Well, the USDA estimates that farm income may be down as much as 25% this year. And if farmers' income is down, they're going to be buying less equipment. That's an estimate. And that's part of the reason why Deere is paring down their production. They're expecting a drop in farm income. Now, John Deere made $10.1 billion in profit last year. In the first half of this year, they're at $4.1 billion. So they're taking a hit in their profit as well. So that's why they're dropping production. That's one reason. Now, another reason, and you'll never get Deere to admit this, if you remember back to 2021, Deere had a strike with the UAW at some of these facilities that are being impacted by these layoffs. And it was kind of an ugly strike. It didn't create any goodwill between Deere and the union. Is that having an impact on these layoffs? Well, probably, but you'll never get anybody in Moline to admit it. But that strike ended badly in November of 2021 with a pretty lucrative contract for the union workers. But I'm sure that's in the back of the minds of John Deere corporate when they're deciding these layoffs. Now, to be fair to John Deere, the ag economy has been booming up until about a year ago now. And part of that was due to the Ukraine invasion by Russia. The Ukraine produces a lot of the world's crops. And of course, that was in doubt for a while. It shot crop prices up. A lot of people were buying equipment. Times were good for farmers. And if you want to know what happened with the manufacturing prior to that time, they were having to gear up for the demand. I read a quote from a John Deere Harvest Works manager who said they had 2,100 employees a little over a year ago now, and that was more than double what it had been 24 months previous. So as you're taking these layoffs, you got to look at the whole picture. They had geared up for great demand in the ag economy previously, and now they're gearing back down to adjust to the new demand. So that's what's going on in the business. Now, in my next video, I'm going to talk about Mexico. And we're seeing not only John Deere, but other companies as well move some of their production to Mexico. It's creating a little bit of ill will. People that are saying, I'll never buy another John Deere, but the other brands are doing it as well, and we'll talk about that in the next video. Mexico may be the new China. Appreciate you watching my videos. If you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, click the My Face icon and check the bell so you get notified when I post future videos. Here's a link to my website and the Tractor Fun Store with cool things for sale for the tractor owner that helps support my channel. And here's another couple of videos you might want to watch. Thanks for watching.